Good morning. Good morning. How is everyone on this Thursday? Happy Thursday morning to you. I hope that you have a beautiful day on today. But I want to share with you there is a Minnesota Trump supporter. Remember the January 6th, 2021, assault, the riot on the Capitol, and that's still going on as far as prosecution and investigations. And so what happened is, under the law and crime, there is under the law and crime there is an article out here, and Minnesota, it was a Minnesota Trump supporter. He set his own home on fire, but he had blamed Black Lives Matter and Biden supporters, and he claimed that it was a politically motivated arson hate crime. But when the prosecutors investigated, they found out that he set his own house on fire. Now, this guy's name is Dennis Mola, and remember he gave this interview. If you don't remember the case, but he gave an interview talking about that, that his garage and trucks was burned because of these pro-Trump flags was on his property. Because there was a lot of people that, they're Trump supporters. Nothing's wrong with who you support, but he had a lot of people that supported Trump. They had a lot of propaganda on their property when Trump was running for office, for president. So he had given this interview back in September of 2020, and he claimed that his garage and trucks was burned because of that. And so now, as of this month, July 2022, they are charging him with wire fraud, and the federal authorities say he set the fires in an effort to defraud his insurance company. Wow. So let me get to this. Let me get to the story. It says a Minnesota man who claimed that supporters of Joe Biden and Black Lives Matter set his garage on fire because of his support of Donald Trump stands accused by federal prosecutors of setting his home on fire himself in an effort to collect insurance. In September 2020, Dennis Mola of Brooklyn Center told local CBS affiliate WCCO that his home was targeted because of his support for Donald Trump, specifically the Trump 2020 flags that were draped over Mola's truck. Those trucks, as well as the garage on Mola's property, were burned. I just heard a big, loud boom or a bang, an emotional Dennis told WCCO at the time. The first thing for me was my kids, my wife. What's going on? Video of the scene showed graffiti painted on Mola's garage. Biden 2020 read one tag, BLM read another, which is the shorthand for Black Lives Matter, punctuated with the symbol for anarchy. Now, Mola's home suffered only minor damage, and he was also able to save 4 puppies from the garage. And he said, it just shocked me. This kind of stuff should not happen, especially over beliefs of some sort. This is what he's saying now. But according to a criminal complaint filed Tuesday, the kind of stuff didn't happen, at least not to Mola. Prosecutors say Mola set the fires himself, blaming it on 3 unknown males, and then proceeded to reap nearly $80,000 from it. Molina, the complaint says, falsely reported to law enforcement following that someone lit his camper on fire, that 3 unknown males were near his home when he heard an explosion, that his garage door was vandalized with spray painted graffiti stating Biden 2020, BLM, and an Antifa symbol, and that his camper was targeted because it had a Trump 2020 flag displayed on it. In reality, as Mola knew well, Mola started his own property on fire. He spray painted the graffiti on his own property, and there were no unknown males near his home, the complaint said. As part of the scheme, Mola allegedly submitted multiple insurance claims to his insurance company, which is not identified in the complaint, seeking coverage for the fire damage to his garage, camper, vehicles, and home. When insurance denied some of the claims, Mola allegedly submitted written complaints to the insurance company saying that it was defrauding him. He wrote at least one email to the insurance company with the subject line, Dennis Mola, Arson Hate Crime, September 23rd, according to the complaint. Mola was apparently so sure his alleged scheme would work that he threatened to report victim insurance company A to the Department of Commerce and the Attorney General, the complaint said. Mola was also behind the GoFundMe accounts that raised money for him and his family. Moeller withdrew thousands of dollars donated to the two GoFundMe accounts and deposited the donated money into his personal Wells Fargo bank account, the complaint says. Although Moeller filed an insurance claim for more than $300,000, he received approximately $61,000, the complaint says. He also collected around $17,000 from individual GoFundMe donors. Following local news coverage, conservative media, including Fox News, and you know Fox News is always pretty much involved, Fox News and OAN also picked up the story. According to court records, Moeller appeared in court on Tuesday and entered a plea of not guilty. He has been released on his own recognizance. An attorney for Moeller declined comment to Law and Crime's request for a comment. So listen to this. This guy, so, when we get down to it, here this guy is, setting his own property on fire, destroying his own property. Now, I would not do that. I would not destroy my own property, especially something that I worked very hard for. And that's my thought process. Something that I worked very hard for, I'm not going to deliberately or intentionally damage it to file an insurance claim. Because I always think about the consequences that can come back on you for filing an insurance claim. Now, he went as far as writing a letter and threatening to, report them to the Attorney General's office, Department of, Commerce and the Attorney General office. He went through those extremes when he really didn't have a legitimate complaint, because he's the one that did it to his own property. And he also put his family at risk. So you have got to be some type of person that lacks morals and values. And also, you don't have a concern for your own family, especially your children. You had some puppies there, but you had children and a wife. And you put their lives in danger as well. And I think people don't understand that, because what if that fire had really spread it to a big fire and your family could not have gotten out? For you to file a complaint, set your own property on fire, damage your own vehicles that either they weren't paid for or they were. Now, see, my thing is too, I'm going to say this. Maybe his vehicles paid for, so he was in a lot of debt? Because, sometimes people take on a lot of debt and then they have buyer's remorse where they just can't handle the debt anymore. And they start coming up with these creative, illegal ways to get compensation to get out of the debt, and yeah, sometimes, people make mistakes and they get in over their head and they have to file bankruptcy, which is really the legitimate way to go, even though you may have made those, bills, you're the one, made the bills, but I don't see any other way than for you to do it that way, or to go get an extra job and or something like that, or try to consolidate your bills or something, but to set your properties, and when I say properties, house, cars, set all that stuff, your garage, your camper, setting your properties on fire to file a false insurance claim, and then blaming, a group of people and supporters. Now, I don't support Black Lives Matter. I don't, and I'm just keeping that real. I don't support Black Lives Matter as far as the organization. I do not, and I have my own beliefs, and I've even witnessed, certain people that in your area, they have their own little, they have their, in areas they have the Black Lives Matter, and I witnessed something, and I was like, that ain't right. But anyway, I don't, support their organization for various reasons, and there are legitimate reasons. However, blaming people, I don't condone that. Because when people blame other people for stuff that other people or groups didn't do, that's wrong, and you're targeting certain groups. It's just like when somebody lies on someone, they wind up in prison behind bars, no bail, and years behind bars for something that they really didn't do, that they're innocent of, and it's somebody else that did it or other people participated. So it's the same concept. I don't support that kind of nonsense. I don't support those type of crimes. I don't condone those type of crimes. And so for this guy to do what he did and then to blame certain groups and other people and play the victim here. His little scheme, see, let me tell you something. His scheme it might have worked where he got paid, but guess what? He's probably going to have to pay restitution back for all that he's done. He's put his family in jeopardy. He may even lose the family home, and everything because of what he's done to his family. So you hurt your family. In the long run, you hurt your family. You don't hurt other people. You might at that time, but you don't have no evidence that they did it. So in reality, even though it might be uncomfortable for the ones that's trying to defend themselves that they didn't do anything to this guy or to that person or whatnot, but in the long run, he hurt himself and his own family. And he's probably more than likely going to get jail time. But he's going to have to pay restitution more than likely too for what he's done. He took money from people that legitimately donated to him. He took money from GoFundMe, and there's a lot of people that could probably use GoFundMe, that could use some support on legitimate things, and they're not scamming. But he scammed people out of money, and people gave. That's why you have to be very careful about giving when it comes to these GoFundMes. You do. And if you don't know the people, and God didn't place it on your heart or in your spirit to give to your local church. Pay your tithes at your church. And some people might say, well, no, because they steal money too. But if you're giving your tithes in good faith and you're giving it unto the Lord, not unto man, but unto the Lord, then God's going to hold the people at church and the churches accountable for the mismanagement and misuse of money, because we're giving our tithe unto the Lord. You know what I'm saying? So, so give it to that, or participate in legitimate organizations or ministries. When you helping people, participate in legitimate ministries instead of, because some of these GoFundMes, they're definitely just scams. It's people out to scam people for money. And GoFundMe probably is going to have to get involved too. This man may be out of a lot of money in the end, because now he's probably unless he spent up the money, if he still has it, they can go back and start refunding donors by going into his bank account, and Wells Fargo is probably going to be involved in all this too. So it's just a big mess here for him. What he did is created this mess for his own family because he was selfish, because he did not really care that much about his family, because if he did, he wouldn't have did this. But it goes back to the saying that money, the love of money is the root of all evil. And when you have hate in your heart, you add that onto the love of money, you have a far worse situation than you can imagine. And so now that they have went after him, because let me tell you something. I wish these prosecutors were so keep that same energy when it comes to putting people behind bars when they know that they have evidence to clear them, and they still go ahead and charge them. I have a problem with corrupt judicial systems where you have corrupt judges, prosecutors. Yeah, I have a problem with corrupt government and politicians. Yes, I do, because it's wrong. And they should keep that same energy when it comes down to putting people behind bars that shouldn't be behind bars, that are truly innocent, and they have innocent evidence to clear them, and they still keep doing it. And I'm going to get into that on another video, where I have another video of a man that served 25 years behind bars, and he shouldn't have. But I'm going to get into that on another video. But I just want to share some of these comments that some of the people put, like somebody said he's a con man, and he's a con. Somebody called him a Trump Jesse Smollett, and just different comments out there. Punish them all. He needs to go to jail. He is clearly a safety issue. And people make a whole bunch of comments, and so they say he learned from one of the most lying presidents in the histories of the United States. He's wasting taxpayers' money. Everybody's playing the race card. He filed a police report. He's a grown man. No one made him do it. Do you think that Fox News will repeat this part of the story, you know, coming out now? And that's a good question. That's actually a good question. Do you think that Fox News is going to come out now and give an update on this you know, on this story? Because remember, he came out in 2020 and now it's 2022 and he's being charged. Just like we see a lot of news outlets don't give updates about the transcripts of you know who. And I don't always want to include that in my commentary, you know, because, but at the end of the day, it does go back to making you think, because this was a big case and, you know, a lot happened. And we know that there's a lot of evidence that supports that, you know, it didn't happen the way they convicted, you know, RSK. And it's really sad. But we know that God's going to get the glory in it and he's going to get the victory. But God will continue to expose wrongdoers. And with that being said, this guy is clearly a wrongdoer and trying to, you know, he accused other people and he pled not guilty, which he obviously is guilty, and he's going to suffer the consequences because, you know, they want to get to the bottom of the Capitol rioters that participated, and they have a lot of energy for them. But again, I wish they had that same energy for every crime, every violation that has been committed against other people. You know, I wish they had that same energy. It's really sad that we are living in our current society world where we see this kind of stuff going on daily now, almost. Not where, you know, every now and then it was rare. Now it's so open and it's just so normal. And that's the scary part about living in a world that this has all become normal. The killings, the lying, the corruptness in the judicial system. You know, it's so many things that we can name. And so anyway, you guys, leave your respectful comments below on the video. I do appreciate you tuning in. So just don't forget that, you know, the copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act, you know, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit education or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. And so don't forget to like the video, share the video, and if you're not a subscriber, subscribe to the channel. And then also don't forget to visit my Instagram. Follow me on Instagram. It's StandupBcounted. Don't forget, you know, I make jewelry, I post it, and if you're interested in anything, you can direct message me. Don't forget to support the channel. If you feel like supporting the channel, don't forget to support the channel. God bless you all on today, but I will be back with another video. Thank you.